is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece. Exploring limitless opportunities, illuminate our path, amplify our impact. Oh, it's Friday night Hangout. Ooh, it's Friday night Hangout. It's safe space for ideation.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Friday Night Hangout. Yeah, this is season 23, episode 249. I'm your host, Joy Onyesoh. It's always a pleasure to welcome you, and I'm super excited tonight because this is our first episode in this beautiful month. We're going to be looking at from start up to stay up. What does it mean to start up, and why do you have to stay up? Is one thing to start up, is another thing to stay up. So in particular tonight, we're going to be talking about killing the leaks, habits, and people that drain new momentum. So I'm your host, and if this is your first time you're joining us, my name is Joy Onyesoh, and I'm very excited to welcome you in. Now, I'm going to ask you to think about sometime in your business journey, if you're already an entrepreneur, where you felt, that you lost steam. You don't feel excited. You don't feel ignited. You don't even want to, to keep moving. That energy that you have, and all of a sudden you just feel so flat. You lost the spark and all of that. What did you think contributed to that? Is it the habit? Is it distraction? Is it fear? Or something else? I want you to think about that. Now, many people start so strong, but they have challenges in sustaining the momentum. And you know why? Sustainability requires more than passion. It requires systems, structure, and expansion of your knowledge base, the right team to work with you, and so much more. So passion by itself is not enough to ensure sustainability. Okay, so there are key things I want you to put in focus tonight, and I want you to stay with me, right? Now, I want you to know that growth requires more than ambition. So that you have that ambition would not necessarily translate into growth happening. Because if you have weak foundations and there are hidden leaks that can silently destroy your momentum, then of course, growth is going to be far from you. And remember what I talked about, sustainability. I want you to add discipline to that. To all that I said, add discipline, right? Now, I want you to use the hashtag TGIF, hashtag FNH with Joy Onyesoh. And we have a YouTube channel, Friday Night Hangout. I want you to click subscribe so that you know whenever we're on, and you can also watch past episodes. We also have the Power Woman TV. Please share, link, subscribe, and just help us subscribe, and invite your friends, your family to join in this beautiful tribe. This is the Friday Night Hangout tribe. Here, we expand your knowledge base in a fun way. Let me share a short story with you. Some time ago, not too long, so I was reflecting on some of my experiences in the past and how it has shaped me into who I am today. One of the things I identified I had to deal with was this sudden burst of energy, right? I'm very creative, so I want to do a lot of things at the same time. So I found that I would start a lot of things, but I would not end it. So halfway, I get tired, I will dump it, I'll move to the next thing. So I had a lot of, things I had started, ideas I had started, but I had not concluded it. And this was some years way back. And that's why it's important that you make out time to spend with yourself, to reflect, and to take notes on what is working and what is not working. And when I was able to fix that problem, because it was a big challenge to growth, right? I found myself moving at a phenomenal rate. And here I am today. Take one idea, finish it, move to the next idea. So let's have a conversation on why foundations matter. Now, I want you to just think about a building. When you architect designs a beautiful building, right? It gives the blueprint of how to build. If the foundation is weak, there are certain structures you put on it, it will collapse. Now, depending on what you want to build, that's the extent to which the architect or the builder will solidify the foundation. The foundation that can carry a bungalow is not the same foundation that can carry a skyscraper. So foundations are really, really very important. It is difficult to grow. It is difficult to build without the right structure. It will lead to instability. It will lead to collapse. Just as the building can crash, that's the same way your business or your enterprise or whatever it is you're building can crash without the right foundation. So if you're here and you're asking, oh, does foundation matter? My response is yes, it does. And that's why you don't want to rush growth. You need to take it a step at a time. You layer, because growth requires that you put in place structures, you put in place systems, you put in place, you recruit team members that can help you carry your vision and midwife it, and that you also learn as you move along. You just don't want to rush through the process. You don't pick up the necessary knowledge that will enable your vision to be sustainable in the long run. So what am I saying here? I'm saying here that you need to build intentionally from the start. You need to be intentional. You don't find a builder just doing anything with the foundation and then just, building. Where you see that happening, of course, we get these stories of crash buildings and all those kind of stuff. So you don't want that to happen to you. Now, the second thing is that you want to identify where your momentum leaks come from. There are certain habits that can weaken your consistency. So what are some of these habits? One, when you overcommit. Some of us are used to saying yes to everyone, to everything. And what happens that for every yes you say to something is a no to something else. So I will ask you, before you say yes, ask yourself, is it at the cost of my dream? What would be the cost of saying this yes? It doesn't matter if it's good, because there are some good things that can also, cause a leak in your momentum. So think about the cost. What could it cost you? There's always a price to pay. And is it consistent or aligned with where you want to go to, right? Now, the other thing is distractions. Some of us, you're working, you're splitting your phone, you're jumping around, you're multitasking at the same time. Now, one of the things I've learned over the years is work in time blocks. So yes, I can have major activities to do for today, but I assign time blocks to them. Those of you who know me well will know there are certain times of the morning you call me, I will not pick up my phone, I will not respond. Why? There are critical tasks I do at that time of the day, and I don't want to be distracted. What am I saying here? You need to build a system. Now, some of us work only on motivation, how you feel. When you feel good, you show up. I don't feel like it. That's not how to build a sustainable structure. So consistency means showing up in and out of season, no matter what. And what happens is when you build systems, you build routines. So it is not only when you feel like. So on days you do not feel like, you show up. So there are days I do not feel like showing up, but I know I need to show up because I need to do the work, right? So these are critical things you want to do. Now, some of us get burnt out. I've been there. When you do a lot, you commit a lot, you're carrying the emotional baggage, you're doing all this, no support system, you will crash. So watch your emotions, know when you need to take a rest, know how to utilize your time out, manage your time very well. Don't let your action plan or your work plan be something that is just like a document sitting on the shelf. Let it work for you. You know you have maybe 7 to 9 productive hours in a day, right? You want to use it wisely. And then you need to get enough rest and sleep. I recall when I was much younger, I could go a long time without sleep. But what I've noticed now is if I don't sleep at a particular time, I get some hours of rest, I'm not as effective as I ordinarily would. So sleep, getting enough sleep and rest is really very important for you to maintain momentum. And there are so much more, right? You would know what distracts you. some of us is that thing of wanting to be in every function. You want to be there, you're serving in the church, you're doing your work. There's a whole lot happening at the same time in your life, because you don't want to forget that you are, an intersectional human being who has different identities, maybe as a sister, as a mother, as a wife, as an employee or employer. So you have, and all of these identities have their own responsibilities. So you want to be very mindful how you do this. Now, I want to talk to you about the She Speaks Summit. The She Speaks Summit that is coming up in 2026 is one summit that will help you to put in place all of what we're talking about. This year, we're talking about unlocking potential and achieving excellence. And when you talk about unlocking your potential, you'll be addressing foundational issues. You'll be addressing clarity issues. You'll be addressing result-focused actions. And building your skill set in building a sustainable financial systems, and so much more. So you don't want to miss She Speaks 2026, because this is one convening that will take you from ground zero to a very high height. So when you come in with expectations, I tell you, those expectations would even be exceeded. Now, at the She Speaks Summit, you're going to meet a lot of the speakers who are also not just speakers. They are builders, they are leaders, they are systems, they are platforms by themselves. So you want to come in. Our keynote speaker is coming all the way from the US of A. We have speakers who are e-commerce, experts, and they will help you in navigating the technology world and putting your business on the global map. Okay, make sure you register. The link is in the chat box, and I look forward to seeing you at the summit. And I want to go into the aspect of the influence of people and environment. Let me tell you something. By the associations you keep, people will know who you are. You will say, oh, it doesn't matter. I know my boundaries. But let me tell you this. When you interact with certain people, when you stay in certain environments, unconsciously and consciously, you begin to pick up certain mannerisms, certain habits. You begin to expand your boundaries, right? And it begins to reflect in who you are. Let's give you an example. If you're in a toxic relationship, or you're dealing with people who always needs reassurance, people who are always assumptions, it will make you to walk on eggshells. And before long, you start second-guessing yourself. What will I do now that this person will not assume, or person will not? So it's not a healthy relationship to be in. And there are people you'll be in, they're always so pessimistic. They have nothing positive to say. Before long, you start hearing that negative voice speaking to you, right? You don't want to be in a place where nobody encourages you or appreciates your efforts. You want to be with people who support you. Very, very important. Some environments you'll be in will weaken your discipline. When you have friends who are always jumping around, they are so restless, they can't sit down and create, they're not disciplined enough to show up for their dreams, and they're always looking for excuses to stop things halfway. You don't speak to yourself in truth, then you find yourself weakening your own boundaries. Now, you have to learn how to protect your energy and your space. This is really very key. Now, how do you protect and sustain the momentum? The first thing I'll tell you is understand, have a clear vision of where you want to go to. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision down, make it clear, so that all who reads it may do what may run with it, and that includes you. So the first thing is to get clear as to the result you want to achieve. How would it feel like? What does it look like? If you're not convinced as to what you want to achieve, then putting in that effort to do all the heavy lifting that must happen will be difficult. Now, I want you to understand, also have the mindset, the growth mindset, that there is no free lunch. You need to do the heavy lifting. You need to put in the work, right? Stop looking for shortcuts. Yes, there may be opportunities where your journey is shortened because of certain networks, because of certain relationships, opportunities. But don't build your mindset where you're always looking for quick fix. That is why a number of people are in the problem they are today. They are not looking at the business they are growing for the long haul. They're only looking at what is in it for me now. And the truth is that some businesses may take a while to break even. But once you're convicted, you understand what it is you're doing, you will stay in and you will push boundaries to achieve what you want to achieve. Of course, you need to talk about building disciplined routines. You don't just show up when you want to show up. Routine. Show me an individual who finds it difficult to grow and achieve results. I will show you an individual who is not disciplined, who do not have routine. You must have certain routines. And it is even knowing those routines that help you to use technology to automate some of them. So when you do not keep to routine, you do not have a system of doing things, you do things when you like. Sometimes you come to office by 9, sometimes you come by 12, sometimes you come by 4. There are no routines to what you do. Of course, it's going to impact on how you grow. It's going to impact on your staying up there. And I want you to know that staying connected to purpose and long-term goal is a game changer. Staying connected to relevant people in your industry is also a game changer. Your network, strength, and capacity is very key. You don't want to do this all alone. And who told you that as a leader, you need to build alone? If you want to create sustainable impact, then you need to work in collaboration with other people in your ecosystem. So now I want you to think about this. What is one habit or influence you know you need to remove or change in this season? I don't want you to carry this baggage. We want to see change, right? We're talking about staying up this month. It's not just about starting up, but how do you stay up? Do an audit of your life, of your lifestyle. Do an audit of your relationship and your environment. What is one thing? I'm not saying 2, 3, 4, just one. What is one thing that you want to, work on? Name it, call it what it is, and then write down the commitment, what you want to do. So see, next week we're going to be talking about build the engine. What is the engine? It is systems. You cannot run systems if you're not intentional about it. You want to build systems that do not require your physical presence. So that's why you can travel as an entrepreneur, spend a month, 2 months, and things will flow. So what are some of the systems you want to build? We are going to talk about it next week, Friday. Now, in conclusion, I want you to know that sustainable growth requires intentional protection. What does that mean? You need to be very, very intentional. You want to safeguard your mental space, your physical space, your energy level. You want to safeguard it, right? And then you also want to know what effects some of these things have on you, so that you will know that whatever you tolerate have an effect on what you build. So you want to build something positive, you know where to draw the line, okay? Now, I said it when we started that your foundation matters. Can you be intentional in building strong foundation? It doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or your business is small. Can you build a foundation that can carry a skyscraper? That is for one who has a vision and you want to build in the long haul. So you need to be thinking big, setting systems. So while you think big, you start small, you set up systems that can enable you to grow gradually. And then finally, I want to let you know that the result you want to achieve is built on an intentional platform. It's not a miracle. It's not something that just happens. So when someone says, oh, it's a coincidence, see, once you have a system, you can always replicate your success. Even when you hit a roadblock, because you have a system, you can start from scratch. You can replicate, you can adapt. But when you do things that you think is luck, you're not prepared, you don't have system, you don't have structure, my dear, when the rug is pulled off from your feet and you hit a roadblock, you will crash and it will be difficult to start all over again. So safeguard your mind. Your mind is one of the most transformative tools that you have. Once you have a growth mind and you can envision it, then know that you can do it. Protect your mind. That's one of the many battles the enemy will come for. That's where the distractions start from, your mind. Do you have a growth mindset or do you have a scarcity mindset? Now, I want to ask you to follow us on all our JOCC platforms. Share this replay, watch it again, and then invite someone to join us next week, because we're going to be talking about building systems. Hi, you don't want to miss this. A lot of entrepreneurs are running their businesses without any system. I was teaching a group of people, that was last week, Monday. And I was talking to them about building systems. And I was running through these systems. And I was so proud of myself because these are systems I have built over time. I'm a system person. I love to build systems. I love to build things that can be replicated, things that can be measured, things that can grow. And I want you to have that mindset too. You can do it. I'm never in a hurry. I'm willing to do things, use a layered approach, and I know that over time, the effort builds up and you will see the results. But part of the challenge we have is most of us want to, get things quickly. You start a business now, you want to blow because you want to pepper, you want to do all of that. That's not the right mindset for growth. So if you want to stay up, then you really need to be intentional about growth and about the things that you do. Thank you so much for joining us today. And do not go anywhere. We have an advert I want to show you, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. For myself and team, is have a blessed weekend. Remember to smell the roses and set up for Monday. What do you need to do? One thing you're committing to doing differently. Write it down and put down the action steps you will take. I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. From myself and the team at the Friday Night Hangout Studio, it's bye. See you.
I'm Dr. Helena More. I'm MD of Scientia Partners Innovation Hub in Lagos.
My name is Nena Onyesoh. I am the founder and the CEO of 2K Shop, a retail e-commerce company here in Nigeria.
My name is Ifeyinwa Amamilo and I'm from Abuja.
My name is Chinelo Enukora. I came all the way from Oka.
Don't procrastinate, move. Create networks that work. Attend trainings that will help me build capacity for the future. Ensure I'm able to identify my mentors and my sponsors.
I came to this event from Lagos. I've been attending She Speaks since 2018. So this is my 8th edition of She Speaks in Enugu.
This experience has been very amazing, very empowering, very enlightening. As a speaker, I gave out and I also was replenished from what I heard from other speakers.
It has been awesome, spirit-filled, and a lot of awesome insights to take home with. My key takeaway is going back home to put into work what I've learned. Not just learning, but implementing. That is where the magic starts from.
As a participant, I have received a lot from the convener, Professor Joy Onyesoh, from the other speakers, Dr. Ifoma and Miss Nena of 2K Shop, and it has been a wonderful experience.
This is the best female-only summit I have been to in my life.
I invite you to She Speaks 2026.
Don't miss She Speaks Summit 2026, happening here in Enugu, 25th to 27th of June 2026. You'll be blessed, you'll be empowered, and you will eat belly food.
I want to use this opportunity to invite you for 2026 She Speaks. Don't miss it. It's going to be bigger, better, with plenty of activities to give you real solutions. She Speaks is not a fancy party. It's where we come to sort ourselves out as women. So don't miss the 2026 edition. Join us to be one of those women who would unlock opportunities. See you in 2026 She Speaks.
Don't snooze. You are invited for She Speaks 2026.